They are ice giants which have slowly scraped away at the peaks for thousands of years. Glaciers, like natural monuments constantly cared about by men and women who observe their daily evolution and work hard to protect them. They are the guardians of the glaciers. In the Alps, the Mer de Glace, or Sea of Ice, is France's biggest glacier. It has fascinated the glaciologist Luc Moreau for 35 years. It's he who installed these markers to bear witness to glacial melting.
In 2018, the footbridge was here, and there was a cave just here. The glacier was right here, and you could enter the cave right from the footbridge.
Today's landscape looks nothing like it did in the past. A century ago, you could walk right onto the glacier from the Montanvert viewing point at a height of 1,900 meters. These days, the 200,000 tourists who visit the Sea of Ice every year can't help feeling a degree of disappointment.
We expected something like this, but when you see the ice levels 100 years ago and 50 years ago, it's really unsettling.
It doesn't look much like a sea of ice, more like a sea of rocks.
To reach the ice these days, you have to take this long stairway down to the tunnel dug into the glacier. In this spot, the Sea of Ice is losing more than 8 meters of thickness every year.
In a year or two, this bead of rock will be at the surface. The glacier isn't moving anymore, it's melting on the spot. And as no more ice is forming, the decrease in size is speeding up. It isn't being fed by new ice every year. All the glacier can do is melt and retreat.
Not far from the Sea of Ice, another emblematic glacier of the French Alps is also a victim of accelerated melting. The source of the Bossons Glacier is at the summit of Mont Blanc and stretches out over 7 kilometers. These hikers will need to walk for 2 hours from Chamonix Valley to reach the glacier.
Our humble innkeeper. How are you, Timothée?
Good, and you? Lovely day to visit the glacier.
Timothée Motin runs the refuge on the path to the glacier, the ideal spot to observe the daily changes to the landscape. After the melting of the ice pyramids that made Bossons famous, a lake recently appeared.
As the glacier retreats, we discover new boulders, new blocks, new slabs, and new lakes, like this one, every day. It's what's so interesting about hiking on the Bossons Glacier.
As we climb higher, the glacier reveals other surprises, as objects it has carried for years in its ice suddenly reappear on the surface.
This is part of a Boeing's landing gear. I'm pretty sure of that. Can you help me? There's a serial number. Look, it's right here.
Yep, Boeing.
Boeing.
2 planes have crashed near the summit of Mont Blanc. In 1950, the Malabar Princess.
Venant de Bombay et se rendant à Londres, un Constellation de l'Air India a disparu dans les Alpes avec 48 personnes à bord.
And then in 1966, another Air India plane, the Boeing Kanchenjunga. 5 decades later, its debris started reappearing 3,000 meters below.
This is a piece of the cabin with its fittings.
Plane went down close to the summit of Mont Blanc, and it's taken 50 years to reach here, in spare parts, so to speak.
Droplet by droplet, the glacier reveals relics, retreats, and silently testifies to dangerous rapid thawing. Temperatures are rising, and the mountain is becoming fragile, in some places to the point of breaking up. We're near the top of the Aiguille du Midi. Mountaineers, but also scientists, Ludovic Ravenel and his colleague are studying the consequences of global warming.
We'll fix an anchor on the arête and climb down to the rocky spur. Then we'll fix the 100-meter rope and climb down it. Looks like it snowed last night. Did you bring the shovel?
Yeah, I did.
It snowed heavily during the night. The 2 men set off on a dangerous exploration, on a very different kind of glacier, a so-called hanging glacier, which clings to the cliff face.
Come on, Ludo.
Under the layer of fresh snow, they must find the sensor that measures temperatures. An arduous search, which finally bears fruit after an hour of effort.
We finally found the sensor wire. After shifting a couple of dozen cubic meters of snow, we expected to find at a depth of 16 meters where the glacier touches the rock a temperature of -4, -5 degrees Celsius. But in fact, it was -0.5. In other words, we're close to fusion point, the point where these small hanging glaciers risk breaking off.
The guardians of the glaciers have rung the warning bells. Our glaciers are giants with clay feet, and particularly threatened in the Alps. Here, where the increase in temperature is twice as rapid as it is at sea level across the globe.